Hello, how you guys doing? You guys doing good? You guys ready to hear a story about the world's or universe's most misunderstood? No, I'm not even gonna go that route. This guy sucks. Erebus sucks. Let's start there. I assume a majority of the people watching don't know, don't care, but too bad. I'm going to force you to watch some videos real quick, and 3 of them are YouTube shorts and 2 of them are cut directly from Horus Heresy novels. Obviously we're gonna have some Horus Heresy spoilers today, but again, I don't think anyone cares, so there's that. Let me go and stop the music, and then I need to play you some stuff about Erebus. And if this ends up being super unpopular, I'll just do this in my free time. So let's start with someone who isn't Erebus to explain who Erebus is. Long story short, everything is his fault. Like literally everything. I'm gonna pull up this this YouTube playlist that I made, starting with this one saying, "Who is Argyle Tall? Oh no, who is this handsome man? I hope nothing bad happens to him."
Argyle Tau was captain of the Serrated Suns Company within the Word-Bearers Legion during the time of the Great Crusade in Horus Heresy. Translating to the Last Angel, he was born upon Colchis and would be inducted into the Legion by Erebus himself. During the Word-Bearers' travels to the Eye of Terror, Argyle Tau and his company would be sent into the warp for what seemed like mere minutes to the Legion. Yet when they returned, it was discovered that they spent 7 months within the warp, eventually having to live off of the crew's flesh and blood and even drinking promethium to survive. During this
To explain what he just said, Logar, the Primarch of the Word-Bearers, sent Erebus into the warp because he was his favorite son and figured he should definitely get all of the cool powers from the Chaos Gods. And then the Chaos Gods were like, "I can fit so many demons in this puppy," and then slams the top of the guy's head, and then he's filled with demons. And now he's like mostly demon.
time, Argyle Tau was witness to some of the first major messages and visions from the Chaos Gods, and would also become the very first possessed, a symbiosis of demon and space marine. He was made chapter master of the Vorback, or the Blessed Sons. He would eventually go on to create a chapter composed wholly of possessed space marines. Tal became Lorgar's most favored son, and during the Shadow Crusade, he and Karn would become honor brothers, but due to this, Erebus would kill Tal. For in every future Erebus saw, the only thing that saved Karn from his damnation to Khorne was Argyle Tau.
So, okay, so what explained there is that, so Argyle Tall, the possessed guy, right? He's filled with demons, he gets out of the warp, and he makes friends with this guy named Karn, later known as Karn the Betrayer. And they're both cool with each other. Like, Karn is like, I'm all about martial combat and, you know, being a cool gladiator guy. And Argyle Tall is like, we're going to be the coolest and bestest of friends. And Erebus is like, that's a problem for me, because if I can see the future, and if he does not, if Argyle Tall doesn't die, then basically Karn doesn't get pissed off enough to become a Khorne worshiper. So we better piss him off real proper, right? And so here's this bit about how Erebus betrayed him.
Tal would become Lorgar's most favored son, which would stand in opposition to the will of Erebus, to which the treacherous chaplain would plot to end Argyle Tal's influence within the Legion. With the Shadow Crusade drawing to a close, the 12th and 17th Legions would be driven back by the wrath of the Ultramarines and their Primarch, Rebute Guilliman. Despite his stalwart loyalty to his Legion and his Primarch, Argyle Tal would be confronted by Erebus. Seeing that should Argyle Tal remain alive, he would turn World Eater First Captain Karn from the path of chaos, corruption, and would cost them a significant blow during the heresy. Erebus would plunge his anathema dagger into...
The anathema dagger that he's referring to there is a demon sword dagger. It's made from this sword that they got from these snake people, and they're like, this thing will kill anyone. Like, literally anyone ever. And so he's like, we got to make sure Erebus dies. So that way, you know, again, Karn gets mad.
Argyltal's back, fulfilling Ingefell the Ascended's prophecy. The words, "We die in the shadow of great wings" of the demon realm, haunting Argyltal's mind.
If you're a fan of Warhammer 40...
So, okay. So that explained a lot about who Argyltal is, but not anything about Erebus. But a lot of people's hatred towards Erebus is because of everything that just happened there. Let me check. There is a subreddit. Let me get the exact name of this. There is a community on Reddit with 9.1 thousand members called Fuck Erebus. And it's just memes about everyone fucking hates this guy. This guy who sucks so incredibly hard that I'm going to kitbash him because, like, yeah, obviously.
Okay, you'll undoubtedly have heard someone say, "Oh, that Erebus, what a scoundrel," or potentially something even with expletives. But what is it about that pesky little word-bearer that makes everybody hate him so much? So the first thing to know about Erebus is that that's not even his real name. As a boy, his parents told him he should behave more like Erebus, another child in the village, so he killed the boy, took his name, and became a priest. By the time...
Should be noted that, like, yeah, the only pre-heresy stuff that we really know about him, or pre, like, you know, books stuff, we know is that, like, he liked to pull the stingers off scorpions, like actual serial murderer behavior. And then when his parents were like, I wish you would be more like this other kid, he, like, just murdered him and took his place. So we don't actually know what Erebus's real name is, just everyone refers to him as Erebus because he stole that kid's identity when he was a child and got away with it.
He becomes a space marine, he's already a servant of the ruinous powers and quickly becomes first chaplain. His Primarch Lorgar was humiliated by the Emperor for spreading the word that the Emperor was a deity, so Erebus took the opportunity to introduce Lorgar to chaos. And not being satisfied with the corruption of just one Primarch, he also orchestrated the fall of Horus Lupercal. First by supplying an anathema blade to a traitorous governor who would later fell the Primarch, and then by entering the visions of the War Master whilst he was being resurrected and attempting to sway him to chaos. And he even goes on to kill other word-bearers such as the legendary Argyltal.
He turned to take it.
So, okay, so that is the crux of it is basically like he's not like the best fighter, though he does like go toe to toe with like he goes toe to toe with like some of the best sword fighters in the universe, but everyone kind of refers to him as a bitch, mainly because of this moment. So Karn in this is a cut from the one of the books. I don't remember which one. It's from Betrayer, which is an awesome book, by the way, from the Horus Heresy. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers because it's from the audiobook of it. And this is Karn meeting Erebus after Lorgar was like, hey, you want to know what happened to Argyltal?
His leave, but stopped when Lorgar said his name once more. Khan. The captain glanced back, expecting Lorgar to be occupied with his parchment. Instead, the Primarch's gaze was raw and pained, a dignified, restrained fury. Lord? Would you like to know, Lorgar asked softly, who killed Argyltal? Erebus bowed to the crowd, facing the applause of fists thudding against bare chests. The deactivated Crozius in his hand was flecked with blood.
Crozius is a religious mace.
First blood, and ever the dignified victor, Erebus offered a hand to help Skane up from the deck. The sergeant took the proffered hand, gripping it with his new augmetic limb. A fine bout, the first chaplain said. The World Eater still hadn't had his throat mechanics repaired, leaving him speechless, but he grinned and nodded in place of words, and moved back into the crowd. Delvarus stepped forwards. So did Khan. The crowd, on the edge of cheering at the first warrior, fell silent at the sight of the second. The captain said 2 words to the Triari centurion. Let me.
So Karn now knows that Erebus essentially sacrificed Argoltal mainly just to piss him off. And they're just having a fun time, like doing a little bit of sparring and stuff inside the ships as they're flying around doing whatever they're doing, right?
Delvarus saluted and backed away. First blood? Erebus asked. The axe in Karn's hand was Gorechild, toothed by mica dragons and once thrown from the hands of a Primarch. He'd chained it to his bare wrist in imitation of the Nucerian gladiators, whose bones he'd seen and honored mere days before at Desh
That image.
The captain was stripped to the waist, as were all the warriors present. Sanguis extremis, Karn said. Some of the crowd breathed in, showing their shock as the humans they once were. Others laughed or cheered. More fists beat against chests. Erebus regarded Karn with cold, composed
Karn just said,
eyes.
to the death.
Several seconds beat in silence before the word-bearer's lips curled in a soft, indulgent
And Erebus
smile.
is like, okay.
Bold Karn. Are you... Gorechild revved for the first time since its rebirth, eating air with the throaty snarl of an apex predator. That interruption was the only answer Karn would give, and Erebus raised his Crozius in reply. Come then. 3 blows. The first, Karn smashed them all aside with the flat of his new axe. The second, he cannoned a headbutt into Erebus's nose, breaking cartilage with a wet crunch. The third, Gorechild tasted first blood, ripping across the chaplain's chest, carving a canyon of flesh over the dense subdermal armor of the warrior's black carapace torso implant. All of this happened in the time it took Erebus to blink. No one could move as fast as Karn moved. No one human, and nothing mortal. The chaplain threw himself backwards, Crozius up high to guard. Karn walked forwards, gunning Gorechild's trigger. The crowd was silent now. This was a Karn they'd never seen, not even on the field of battle. Another 3 blows, delivered with the same blinding speed. Erebus's maul clanged, skidded
kinda goofy,
across
yeah.
the deck. He took a fist to the throat and a boot to the stomach, knocking him back with enough force to send him crashing onto the blood-stained iron grillwork. He looked up at Karn from the ground and saw his death in the World Eater's eyes. He'd never seen this before, not in any of the paths of possibility.
He fucked around and found out.
Couldn't be happening. It couldn't end like this. He was Destiny's hand. Karn looked down at him, clearly allowing time for the chaplain to recover his Crozius. Get up. Erebus rose, his mace in his hands again.
I love
He
the
attacked
images.
himself, showing the speed and skill that had allowed him to hold his own against Lucius of the Emperor's Children and Loken of the old Lunar Wolves. His Crozius trailed killing lightning, buzzing furiously as it thrummed through empty air again and again. Karn weaved aside from every blow, quicker than a blink, surely quicker than muscles could ever allow. Their weapons crashed together. Karn had parried the last blow.
It is Lemmy, yeah.
Erebus expected accusation in the World Eater's eyes, or surely anger. He saw neither. Worse, he saw a bored indulgence. The captain even sighed. 3 more blows. Erebus was on the deck before he knew how. Pain flared across his chest, hot and urgent, matching the thick throb of his smashed face. He reached
I
to
can
touch
almost
the wound
guarantee you
with a
all
hand
these
that
memes
was no
came from
longer there.
the subreddit.
His hand. His hand was on the deck, several meters away. Blood leaked from the chewed veins nestled in the meat of his...
So this is one of the things that happens to him is he gets his ass absolutely obliterated by Karn, right? Loses his hand in the fight, and then spoilers, teleports away like a bitch. And the thing about Erebus is anytime he does anything, it doesn't work out the way he said it's gonna. Instead, it just sort of kind of works out. And he's like, yeah, just as planned. I'm the coolest guy ever. He's that guy that no matter how stupid something happens, like no matter how badly he fucks up, it's fine. And Karn is a simple man. He had one friend, and Erebus killed him, and now Karn is fucking mad as shit. But you know, he teleports away and he gets out of it without having it be a big deal. Sure. So he's down a hand, so that's going to be something that we have to like work into the kit bash. So when you're kit bashing, you're basically like putting together a model wrong. And there's not a model for Erebus in 40k, despite the fact that he's still around doing stuff. Surprise, surprise, he actually survives everything that's about to happen. You gotta hand it to him. Well, we haven't gotten to his face-off with Horus yet, but yeah, so he goes hand-to-hand with Karn and gets his hand chopped off. So he's not doing great, but that's okay. That's okay. He's still alive. He can get that replaced. He can get that augmentically replaced with like a robot arm or maybe like a demon hand. I don't know. I haven't decided how I want to do this yet. And then here's the last bit. And this part is really hard for me to like kit bash. So I want to see what you guys think about this. So this is Horus talking to Erebus. And the premise for this is that Erebus had a plan where he was going to convert Sanguinius, the Primarch of the Blood Angels, to be a bad guy, and it didn't go well. It didn't work the way he expected it to work, and he's mad about it because if Sanguinius doesn't fall to chaos, then oh fuck, then we may not win this war. We may not take out the Emperor and the Imperium, and that's exactly what ended up happening. As an aside, like they got close. They killed the Emperor, sort of. He's on life support. He's not doing great. But so he comes to Horus, who he himself like helped turn into totally Vulcan. Thank you for the gift sub to Who is Erebus. When will this old fuck die? He won't. So here's Erebus complaining to Horus after Horus has been so while Horus is dying from this like demonically possessed poison blade, Erebus is like, hold up, I know a place we can take him and he'll survive. And obviously his sons are like, okay, yeah, anything, we'll do anything to take care of him. He's like, that's great. Anyway, I need you guys not to be in the room while we do this super cool ritual that'll definitely not turn him to chaos, a thing you don't know anything about. And they're like, that sounds fine. Okay. And they were able to hurt him with that blade because it's, you know, one of the Athamanes that he got off that sword. Cool, right? So Erebus just kind of runs around with the Anathames for a while. One of them, which they try and use to kill a bunch of different Primarchs. And here's Erebus talking to Horus about how he's upset that they didn't convert Sanguinius.
You broke the pattern. You disrupted the flow by offering skulls to the bloodthirster, all because you did not wish the angel to stand among us. You did not want a rival in our ranks. The blood angels walk the scarlet path, but now they will never be ours. The ruinous powers will not be pleased.
The apostle's brief tirade died away into silence, and no other sound rose beyond it. There came a flash of shock, quickly smothered,
Is he
as too
Skeletor?
late Erebus arrived at the understanding
not
that
yet.
he had overstepped the mark. Horus studied him, examining the dense lines of text tattooed across the word-bearer's face and neck. I admit I am displeased at this turn of events. Sanguinius's death would have served many purposes.
Let me show you. Okay, so I need to probably get a picture of Horus. So let's see. I believe this is a picture of Horus while he was still like loyal and a good guy. He's got this giant wolf pelt on. And then because of the stuff that Erebus did to him, like whispering in his brain while he gets demonically possessed, essentially, he turns into a fucking evil maniac. Like, it's not great. Cool claw hand. Yeah. So this is the guy that Erebus is like shouting at.
Even if my vanity was one of them. He grinned, at once malicious and self-deprecating. Then his manner turned cold. But so be it. The angel will face me in battle before our campaign ends.
Referring to
Only
Sanguinius.
one of us will survive. That
Spoilers. I don't think either of them got out of that.
could have been avoided, Erebus offered, attempting to make back the ground he had given up. Do you think I am a puppet? Said Horus. He nodded at the Red Angel. A weapon to be commanded? I think you may.
Wait, why is there someone called Erebus on Twitter? Or I mean Twitch? God damn it. So now my ticker things just got some random dude. Well, I guess that's yeah, I guess that streamer's name is Erebus. So keep that in mind while we're doing this kit bash, I guess.
I think you must be reminded of your place in the scheme of things. The War Master's hand shot out and snatched at the hilt of a dagger sheathed at the Dark Apostle's belt. Erebus gave a gasp as Horus took his athame and turned it in his grip, letting the warp-touched blade catch the chamber's ill light. You let the mask slip, Erebus, he told him. You showed yourself to me. I saw what you showed them. Horus touched the tip of the dagger on the Apostle's cheek, and he flinched away as it burned him. The sons of Horus were suddenly there at his back, blocking his retreat. For a moment, the word-bearer's legionaries in the chamber hesitated, hands falling to their weapons, ready to defend their master.
If you did an IRL stream going around town, how do you think that would go? Disregarding the heat and all that jazz. Yeah, disregarding the heat, I wouldn't know where to go. And I kind of hate people who do that. Is Erebus like Dio where he's evil just because he thinks it's funny? No, he's like super involved. Like he super believes in these, you know, evil gods, right? Korn, Slanesh, all that jazz. And he convinced not only his Primarch, but basically half of the people in the year 30,000 to go do what he wanted him to do.
But Erebus slowly shook his head, warning them off. He had to realize what was to come, and that he had no choice but to accept it. Let me see that face again, said Horus, cutting a bloody line across Erebus's forehead, as his warriors took the Apostle's arms and held him rigid. Your true face. With an artist's care, the War Master sliced through flesh and into meat. Though he gasped and trembled, Erebus did not cry out. Horus took the severed edge between his fingers, and like the turning of a page,
30K is the prequel to 40K. I have no idea, Top Houndor.
He skinned Erebus's face from his blood-smothered head. The word-bearer staggered back, his features a ruin of crimson, stark white eyes glaring out and unable to blink. The things that whisper in your ear, that you hold in concord with your pacts and your inscriptions.
Yeah, so Erebus is like, bro, why'd you give all those things to the fucking Bloodthirster? One of these big dudes like this, right? Why'd you do that? Like, now we won't be able to get Sanguinius on our side. And Horus is like, bitch, did you just, like, correct me on how I wanted to do things? I want Sanguinius dead. Fuck that guy. And in fact, come here. Give me your knife. I'm gonna cut your face off. And so he slices his face off and then, like, peels the rest of it off with his hands, like it said, like it was a book. And so now Erebus is missing a hand and his face. So anyway, we got to figure out how to make that work as far as the kit bash goes. Because if it's gonna be Erebus, you have to know that now, yeah, see, I didn't think a guy named Sanguinius Sanguinius and Bloodthirster are two different people. The Bloodthirster is just like a name for a large corn demon guy. Sanguinius is actually this guy right here. He's got angel wings and everything. It turned out to be like a fairly reasonable guy, but everyone in his chapter kind of went insane. Fuck Erebus. Yeah, that's why we're kit bashing him. So you might be asking, if this guy's such an asshole and everyone hates him, why would you go through the trouble of kit bashing him? And that's basically the point, is that everyone wants to kick this guy's ass. And I figure, hey, why not do that? We're kit bashing him because that'll probably mean that more people want to fight me. Because they're like, I really want to kill that asshole. Because regardless of, like, literally everything that happened in 30K is because of his fault. Also, I don't like it when, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm playing Word Bearers today. Cool. And then, it's like, all right, but I've got, you know, Cypher here. I got Abaddon. I got Lucius. I got Huron Blackheart. And it's just like, wait, these guys are all from different legions. Why did they all show up here? I hate that. I really do. So what we're going to try and do today is kit bash Erebus so that way he can take Abaddon's place, also known as Little Horus. He apparently looked just like Horus. And in fact, we can look up Abaddon. 40K. Yeah, so this is Horus going to evil. And yeah, he doesn't end up looking all that good. But this is modern day Abaddon. So you can definitely see you definitely get some style choices. Little Horus was Horus Axminid, not Abaddon. I thought it was Abaddon. That's me fucking things up. Regardless, this is what this guy needs to basically be able to do, but we want him to look like Erebus. So again, the things that we know about like him as far as what he looks like, not the Greek guy. There was this guy that got his face painted up like Erebus for the sake of, like, I guess a tournament. Here's his 30K model, where he kind of just looks like a screaming guy with, like, a staff. Ezekiel Abaddon is Abaddon's first name, right? I guess that's Erebus. No, where's his face tattoos? Here's this really awful picture of Erebus that I really hate. I gotta be careful about scrolling through Erebus art. Okay, and then here is something that someone drew, which was just like post him getting his face ripped off. And to me, okay, so the scripture on his face is supposed to keep him from getting possessed. I would say that now that he's gotten his face ripped off, he probably can't not be possessed if he's hanging out excessive amounts of time in the warp. And as a result, I would say that that also has made him a lot stronger because he's hanging out with demons all the time. So let me show you what I've got as a starter for what we're going to try and do today. Would the corrupted regrow his face, or would he just have a fucked up skull now? I don't know. It kind of depends on what the Chaos Gods would want to do with him. And that's a good question, actually, because, like, we kind of don't know. Don't forget that 3/4 of... Wait, what happened to his other limbs? I know that, like, his hand got messed up, but what about the rest of him? Karn? Karn beat him up again? He's kind of, Karn is a good reason. Yeah, Karn is a considered... Yeah, it's a great reason. All right, so let me see if I can get the camera to look good. Let's see. I'm gonna not put a card in the camera, I'll be honest with you. All right, so let's see. So I've got this head that I made. There we go. Maybe a little bit closer. Okay, so I don't know if this looks good or not. It's kind of hard to do. I chopped off his nose. I added a little horn. The green will end up kind of blurring into the rest of it. And then I kind of wanted to just have, like, ruined flesh on the rest of it. I don't know if that works. I got this separate head from my local LGS's bits box. I think this is from, like, the Space Marine Heroes stuff. It's just like a screaming bald dude. So we could go that direction with it too. I don't know if that's gonna work, is my main issue. No nose seems important, right? So yeah, I shaved off his nose. I'm trying to get all this crap out of his... Where are we? Well, this one is a DSLR, so it has a manual focus. Unlike, Sorry, I got a bit of lag when I, focus and all that jazz. Well... Anyway, that's his face. And then I bought a 3D printed thing from let's see if we can get... Oh yeah. Let me see if I can get the thing so I can actually see what we're looking at. Okay, cool. So we got the head. I worked that out. His legs aren't bionics, they're just augmented because of Gorechild. Okay, cool. So this is a 3D print of Station Forge's, I forget what it's called. This is their equivalent to and these orc boys need to be repainted. I'm going through the process of rebasing them, and it just sucks. So this is supposed to be Sigismund, right? Who's a different character. Don't worry about it. He's another religious nuthead. And it comes with this base, which of course you can't see because the focus is bad. So right, it comes with this base. It's got a dead orc on it, an axe, and then a place for the guy to stand. We don't need to use this base, however, it is the same size as Abaddon's, which is good. As far as the body goes, we got, you know, a fairly standard Space Marine body, which of course is not in focus, because why would it be? It's got some religious-y looking stuff, but nothing that's like directly Imperium based aside from maybe whatever this is on his knee. I'm tempted to use the other camera just because this is so annoying. And then maybe turn down the brightness a bit. Who is the he? Erebus. Once we get done making him. All right. So this is the body. Comparing it to modern CSM, this is the I guess sergeant. He's like sergeant size. A little bit bigger. A little bit meatier. So he's in the new scale. So I don't know if I want to use this base or not, because like he's not known for killing orcs. My plan initially was to do a combination of green stuff and some major chopping to get rid of this guy. So that's one thing. There's a couple like little follower dudes that are in here. So you got like some backpack for some cult dude. Dremel off the orc, replace with ultramarine. I mean, that would be the most fitting. Keep it for height. So yeah, I think I'll keep the base just to make him a little bit taller. We need to shave off some of this stuff on the bottom. And then we got, you know, random retainer guy that just hangs out on the thing with him. This will justify why he has a bolter profile. So that's what we're working with right now. And then I kind of realized after I got everything together that he'd probably make a better Cypher alternative, but whatever. Where can I put the camera so you can actually see what the hell I'm doing? I don't think we can. I think I gotta turn it more. If this doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and that's fine. We'll just switch to doing something else. Like, anytime I move my hand, it moves it out of the shot. Where can I put this guy? Want to get a little bit more light going as well, if I can. This looks like it's some sort of like, yeah, I think like an emery board would be better. Don't seem to have one is the problem. Or like just some sandpaper, you know? Rather than trying to pick this off individually. Do I have any sandpaper anywhere? That looks like a no on the sandpaper front. Maybe there's some in here? No. Yeah, it looks like I'm out of sandpaper. How are the kitties? They're doing good. Pretty sure I had an emery board at some point. I don't see anything about it. I don't see any. Yeah, an emery board would make this a lot easier. Got a Dremel tool? Not one for this size. I mean, like, this is gonna be on the bottom of the base, so it's fine. I'm just being a nerd and wanting it to, like, lay flat and not be bumpy. Okay. Why don't we, I'm gonna just dry fit stuff. Oh, okay, so he needs the orc in order to stand up taller. Because I think he goes there. Like that. So 1 foot is kind of on the orc's crotch. Which is, kind of means that he's going to have to keep it there. There's like a footprint to kind of give you a guideline on where he's supposed to put his other foot. I think I probably don't want to glue him down yet. But this, I think, means that we need to get rid of the orc for the most part, and then replace it with green stuff. Or at least screw up the orc's body enough where it could be like a guardsman instead. The other bit that needs to happen is... So I've got like a sword hand where he's like stabbing into the guy. But the other hand is him holding the orc's head like so, spine kind of coming out. Well, I'll show you down here. You get the idea. He's holding the orc by the top of the head, and his spine is falling out of the bottom. So he's like ripped the orc boy's head off. Again, Sigismund has like a thing against orcs. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. It's not important. But it is important that there is an orc there for no reason. Also, like, I feel like you can still see the orc's spine. That's not important. Anyway, so what do you guys think the best way of dealing with this guy is, as far as like getting rid of his the orc that's here? Because it's pretty well lined up. Let me check the thing. Siggy just hates everyone. I mean, yeah, he does, but we definitely have to get this axe out of here, because this axe does nothing aside from definitely tell us that we're actually using Sigismund's model instead of Erebus. So, because like Erebus doesn't really have a thing against Xenos, especially. So why don't we just carve that off? I think I might want to use the saw for this bit. Get a little like hand saw that I've been using to chop boys off their bases. What's the reason for altering the model? So the original model that this is supposed to be is a completely different guy. The guy that I want it to be doesn't have a model. I want to make him one. So I picked someone who's like vaguely kind of got the same aesthetic, and then we're going to make it chaosy and evil. Because the other guy is like, he's like a knight. Absolutely no wizards kind of guy. And Erebus is like, everyone should pray to chaos. And Sigismund is like, no one should pray to chaos. So yeah, very, very different guys. So I think I just start by chopping this axe off. How often do you kit bash? Like every chance I get, because usually it's cheaper. That's the other thing, is this model, like I think I spent probably like 20 bucks on the parts to kit bash this. And if I buy Abaddon, who is, who this is supposed to be. So we're using a Sigismund model to pretend to be Erebus, who's going to be Abaddon rules wise, but we'll call him Erebus. Anyway, Abaddon, I want to say is like $60, $70 right now, and he's good, but not like $60, $70 good, and he doesn't meet the aesthetic. He's 65. He doesn't meet the aesthetic of what I'm going for here. So instead, I'm going to spend 20 bucks and get a guy who looks like a guy who's supposed to be in my army specifically, and also is cheaper. That's the way I like to kit bash, is better but cheaper. A lot of my Warhammer nerding time is spent just figuring out kit bashes. That's why I'm an orc player. It's one of my favorite parts of the hobby is like kit bashing. What is kit bashing, and is there anything bad with it? No. So kit bashing is putting together models incorrectly. So like instead of putting it together, I don't know. So okay, here's an example. I've got a bunch of these legionnaires, right? I don't need any more legionnaires, but my brother-in-law gave me 10 more, right? I don't need more. I have way more than I could do anything with. So instead, I bought some guns for them. And I'm going to put them on a bigger base. So it's like dumping Legos from two different boxes together. Yes, and then building a starship out of your castle bits. So now those Legionnaires that my brother-in-law got me, those are going to be Havocs, which are like real shooty guys. People kitbash all sorts of stuff. Are you building an army for Mike? No, I already built that on TTS. Well, I haven't converted it over to TTS yet, but it's on Yellow Scribe. You're better off using Primaris as Havocs. I already had the models, and they got damaged in the flood. Like, the box was damaged to a point that I could not return it. Havocs are huge compared to Legionaries. They're not really. They're just on 40s. And so I bought some 40s and I put them on them. They need the height and bulk of a Primaris. Yeah, so like the new scale guys. Have you seen the guy building a Warlord Titan on YouTube? I haven't. I mean, at least he gets to use it as a business expense. Thoughts on me printing Imperial Agent's army as a meme? Do you have... How can you possibly make an army? How accessible is Warhammer without using outside sources? Not. I've been into Warhammer since 8th edition, so... Anyone remember when 8th edition started? Yeah, I don't think there's enough models to use as a entirely Imperial Agents army. And also, can't you only use like 500 points of them or something? So I don't know what the other 1,500. They don't have a detachment. Right, so you'd have to like bring them in as allies on something else. But you could use some, like, I don't know, guardsmen as arbiters or something weird. You can figure it out. You could do that. I don't care about the Imperial agents enough to, like, even bother considering that idea, but it seems like it would work as long as you know, like, army rules-wise, how you'd get it to work. Unofficial mic raid? Cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, there are a lot more people. Did Mike, have a good time with his IRL stream? I know he'd been planning on doing a, an IRL stream for a while. Just didn't expect him to do it anytime soon. We had feet reveal. Weird. The backpack works. Was this just sort of a test run one? Because I feel like he would have hyped it up beforehand. I would have heard of it. Yeah. It's Soki. Thank you for the 26 months of support. He shit on the boards and blamed it on the dog. Okay. You didn't want a lot of attention on it? Fair enough, fair enough. How's it going? It's going good. Just making some quick modifications to this guy so we can make him more evil. And he still got 2,000 people watching. Yep. I'm really proud of Mike and how he's doing. This is a Warhammer figure. It's a third-party print of a guy that we're going to turn into another guy who's going to represent a third guy, but pretend to be the second guy. If that didn't make sense, don't worry about it. We're making like the equivalent of like Jafar in 40K. That like he was just like, yo, you know, you could do such and such. We're doing Erebus today. He's not like well known for being a great fighter, which is probably the biggest lore fail. He's the manipulative villain that's in the background. Yes. Is the model for a cringe nerd that got turned into Skeletor. Sure, yeah. He is the bad guy. If you know nothing else about, like, literally, if you just understand what happened with Erebus, you understand 99% of the lore of Warhammer. The guy was fucked up in the head to begin with, and then convinced everyone else to worship chaos. And anyone who couldn't convince, he murdered or stabbed to try and get them to turn either dead or into another worshiper. He did a lot of stabbing. It might be part of the reason I like him as a character. Well, my finger scars are from me biting my nails. I tried painting my nails like clear, And there's just none of that left. So. For the game, do different Chaos Gods have their own demon armies? Or yes, you can play 100% just one type of demon. In previous editions, there was a benefit for doing so. In this edition, I don't think there is. He stabbed Argyltal to make him to make Angron, or not Angron, Karn real fucking mad. And it worked. Karn is still fucking mad. Karn is big mad right now. He has been big mad for 10,000 years about that. Yeah, you can ally demons and Chaos Space Marines in the same army. It's not a big deal at all. You can even do multiple different Chaos Demons. Just has to be less than, I think it's a quarter of your army can be demons. So you can go all Slaanesh, all Tzeentch, or mix them up. Yeah, 100%. And that'd probably be a pretty good plan, because Slaanesh is more hand-to-hand, whereas Tzeentch is more ranged fuckery. I only own... Well, no, I've got one Khorne guy, because for a while I was going to do the Khorne Lord of Skulls meme from 8th edition. And then I realized how much a Khorne Lord of Skulls is, even if you find it, like, whatever. What's the little red and green splotch? So that's the dude's face. He had a face-off against Abaddon, or not Abaddon, Horus, and so now he's missing most of his face meat. Magnus did nothing wrong. See, Magnus, he got in trouble. So the warp in 40k is actually so influential that it's the reason that the Nether exists in Minecraft, right? It allows you to go real far, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous to go through it, right? And so the Emperor, realizing that that is fucking shit to just go through hell every single time you just wanted to go from one side of the galaxy to the other, was like, hey, let's figure out what the space elves are doing, because they've got some other way of doing it. No one bother me. No one bother me while I'm doing that. Notch even admitted that the Nether was inspired by the warp from 40k. So, there you are. So then the Emperor didn't tell anyone what he was doing. And so Magnus finds out that Horus has turned to evil because Erebus got a random fucking guy to stab him with a special sword that he found. And so Magnus goes to tell the Emperor, his dad, and the Emperor's like, get the fuck out of here, you broke everything. And it was kind of the last straw for Magnus. Because, like, he didn't know that that was going on. So, like, why would he not? You know? Like, why would he... So anyway, Magnus did nothing wrong, but Erebus did a lot of things wrong. On purpose, though. So... he's kind of your classic, like, this guy's just a fucking asshole kind of evil, you know? He's like the king cult leader kind of guy. He's fucking evil. And everyone hates him. Like I was saying earlier, there's a subreddit called Fuck Erebus with like 9,000 members that actively post like daily. Do you play any of the 40k games? I used to play some of, what's it called? Well, Necromunda sucked, unfortunately. Dawn of War was amazing. I really, really, really wanted to like, what's the first-person shooter they came out with? Darktide. I really wanted to like it, but it got real repetitive, and there's no change to that. Who's a bigger douche? Erebus or Mortarion? Erebus. Mortarion actually had reasons that he was like that. Basically, he had to side with Nurgle or die. Erebus made that decision with no gun to his head. I didn't really care for Bolt Gun. It was like it's like Doom with no map. Is siding with Nurgle better than dying? You know, probably not. I liked Speed Freaks. The Necromunda video game was bad, mainly just because it was so repetitive. It felt like a looter shooter that was single player, which just boggles the mind. It's made by the same people who made I Divine Cybermancy, which, you know, if they had had the rights to make a GW Warhammer game, they would have. I Divine Cybermancy is essentially a Warhammer game, but unofficially so. And so they obviously got signed on to make a real one, and when they did, it was bad. So imagine, imagine I Divine Cybermancy with like a AAA like, I'm talking about hired gun. It has the veneer of a AAA game. Warcraft is literally, yeah, it originally was a Warhammer game, but they lost the rights. Very few Warhammer games are good. I want to say, like, Speed Freaks is probably one of the best ones in years. Darktide was okay for a minute. GW does not give a shit about preserving its thing. Neither company wanted to go forward with it. I see. So you can thank Games Workshop for Blizzard. Sorry. I haven't played Deathwing yet. Okay. The axe is gone, but this spot has like weird grooves in it that doesn't really meet up with anything else. We're gonna fix that in a minute. What should I do with this dead orc here? Here, hold on. So there's a dead orc on this base here. And the question is, do I get rid of him entirely, or do I try and make him look like a human? Paint him as Kadashan? That's what I was thinking. The problem is his feet, unironically, his feet and his one missing arm there. Like, the torso could totally be fine. So the other thing we could do is we could just, like, pack some green stuff on. So green stuff is this multi-part epoxy. I don't have any good examples. Sculpting feet is gonna suck. Yeah. So maybe we just cut off his feet and then remold the rest of it. Maybe like cut off his fingers as well. Do we want to keep his hands? Fill his toes. We definitely cut off his feet. Let's start there. Ow. All right, feet removed. Ever play any of the 40k TTRPGs? I have not, no. I think I would prefer to just do like D&D or something. Neoax, thank you for the 17 months of support. That's very cool of you. Dark Heresy is a better system. Age of Sigma seemed alright. It's alright. I am excited to see, did Mike talk about D&D later tonight? Or Baldur's Gate, I should say. Okay, cool. What did he say about that? He wants to try Bard. Okay. A Bard or a Barbarian? He wants to try Bard, but he also wants to smash stuff. Okay. I have a feeling that he's gonna... I mean, Barbarian, I think, is a thing. I don't think that Bard is gonna be that hard for newbie. It involves casting, but I think it'll be fine. Mike doesn't want to think. He'll have to think some. Barbarian, yeah, I feel like all the things are pretty easy to learn. If you paint your orcs red, do they go faster? Previously, they did. This edition, it doesn't matter what color your guys are painted. Okay, so... Bard or Barbarian? Can you combo those, or does that end up being bad? It's a lot of charisma, because you need charisma, dex, constitution, and strength. right? Maybe he can go like, what is it? College of Swords? You can combo it because it works because no armor. Yeah. What I'm figuring is going to happen is that he probably wants to hang out with Asteron, right? Please no. I'm trying to figure out what I want to be based on what he wants to be and the fact that we're also going to have limes. So if we're bringing Asteron along, right? That means that we don't have any cleric, I would assume. So I guess I'm going cleric. Oh, Hackerling's coming as well? Oh, I didn't know Hackerling was coming along. What are you scraping? I'm just scraping off, like, what I can of what remains of his feet. Okay, so then maybe I don't have to be... Can you romance NPCs who are not in your party? I don't know, actually. Probably? I don't really want to go Paladin, because if I go Paladin, then there's going to be no chance that I can... What class are you right now? I am currently a Circle of the Spore Druid with cross comboed with Monk. And I don't think I've picked my subclass for Monk yet. Works out really good, actually. Monk best class? I love monks. The problem is I don't want to run another monk while I'm running a monk in the other campaign, you know? Okay, so I've trimmed this guy's nails because he had orc, like, very sharp, long nails. And now they're, like, more human length. I think we have to get rid of, just be an unarmed barbarian. See, if he wants to be barbarian, I don't want to be the same thing as him. But if we're going to have a full squad, then... I don't know. This detail right here... Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. Okay, so I chopped his nails off so that way they're not super long and sharp. And then we've got this arm over here. I was thinking about removing it. Or maybe just like fucking it up some. Because that armor bit right at the end there is very orky. In fact, the armor bit on the other arm is as well. I think I use Army Painter if I want cheap paint, but most of the time I use GW just because the quality is good. excluding their white. So I think I might... Does that connect up with something? Doesn't look like it does. I think it just stops. Let's see what I can do with green stuff. He wants to play Barbarian or Bard? Okay. He can multi-class, I just don't know about that, man. Ah, Barbarian is his external suggestion. Ah, okay. So he wants to be Bard then. Because I was thinking about like a 2-level dip into Cleric with... Or, yeah, 2 levels into Life Cleric. And then the rest Barbarian. You can multi-class in Baldur's Gate 3, yes. I don't think you can triple multi-class. But the thing with Life Cleric is that that ends up not being bad for Barbarian. Because normally with Clerics you want a Wisdom bonus, but like, as long as it's not negative, it's fine. So I just want to have like some. Are there death clerics? I don't know, but a life cleric would give me access to heal. That's an action. It doesn't seem like it has a limit on how many times I can use it, but it's like an action. But if I do barbarian, then I could have that action. This is green stuff, by the way. It's green. Once you mix the two parts together, it comes up with like this green paste. I mean, like, early levels, you just die a lot. You can't do spells. Yeah, I don't need a card in the camera right now. No spells while raging, but can you do actions? Because specifically, I'm looking at the Life Cleric level 2 action you can do, which is not a spell. Called Channel Divinity? Yeah. It doesn't require concentration. It just does 3 times your Cleric level plus 2 in healing, which will be 8. Which is fine. 8 and an AoE around me for the first couple of levels should be fine, you know? And then later on, it'll just be heal for myself. Sort of like the second wind ability for fighters. Anyone understand how Channel Divinity works? And whether or not it counts as a spell? Is Baldur's Gate literally a D&D game? Yeah, 100%. It's just 5th edition D&D with a couple of changes. I believe Channel Divinity uses its own charge. Exactly. In base D&D 5e rules, Channel Divinity is fine while raging. What level Life Cleric? Level 2 gives it Channel Divinity. Also, VOD watchers probably missed like the first 30 minutes of this thing, because the videos I used to show off who Erebus is probably get claimed. And if that happens, I probably just delete them out of the VOD. So apologies on that. Just look up Erebus on YouTube, you'll find him. There's a bunch of shorts you can watch that are along the lines of what you want. I really don't like there's one guy who did an hour-long video on him, and it's I hate him. Is it Luton? It's not. No, it's I don't remember what the guy's name is. He starts his videos with hello guys and lady, or guys and gal, specifically singular gal, guys or gal. So now that we've got the green stuff kind of covering up the spot, might be major kill. Yeah, I just found him really obnoxious. Like the kind of person that like I wouldn't want to associate with at my local LGS. You know? He seems like the kind of guy who probably has like probably like anime girls coming as his background thing on his phone. I like how you're like, yeah, that's major kill. He sells 40k hentai. Are you making this Force Horus Heresy? No, this is going to be a replacement for Abaddon. Yeah, Arch Warhammer got bopped by GW so hard they said you have to take Warhammer out of your name and never talk about us ever again. Because the guy was such a chud that they're like, GW was like, please, please, please do not talk about us. It hurts our brand when you do. Arch was like the guy that people were recommending lore stuff to. Arch's second channel is an alt-right politics channel. Yeah, that sounds right. But he was like the guy people recommended to me when I first started getting into Warhammer. I'm like, this guy sucks. Well, let's see if I can actually pull the idea off. Arch has always been shit. Yeah, 100%. And so that's why I was like, when I first started watching his videos, I was like, what the fuck with this guy? Because obviously when he's talking about Warhammer, he doesn't bring up like anti-SJW, like kind of weird shit all the time. But he starts... It started to get to the point where it was like, oh my god, you're not even talking about politics right now. Why are you talking about this? Again, another reason I should talk about politics left on my own streams, but He just seemed like a chud. How do you feel about the TTS series? I haven't watched enough of it, but I mean, like, I get to brag that I know a guy who worked on it. I get to brag that Alpha Braza messaged me once. I think a lot of dingus YouTubers got big catering to that group. Yeah, 100%. That's a really important group to cater to. You make a lot of money if you do it. What did he do, Ego? Also, who is he? Planet of Base is real. Oh, it's actually out? If you want a shortcut to getting big on YouTube or Twitch, cater to children or man children. Those are the two people you should cater to. And then you got a whole bunch of people coming to watch your stuff. No card in the camera. That's fine. I don't need to record this for later. I just want to give you guys like 1080p to watch. I don't know how to tell you guys this, but there are less gay people than there are people who don't know anything about gay people. And there's more assholes. There's more assholes in the gaming space than there are gay people. So if you want a shortcut to fame, all you have to do is sell your soul. Thank you for checking, Ritual Sauce. That's good. Okay. I don't know if it's good, but it seems like it would work. Okay, so we cleaned up the where the axe was and made it a little less obvious. It seems OP to BH. Yeah. It seems solid. I don't know if it's overpowered, but I can dip 2 levels into cleric and then switch. Level 6 heals 18 to all allies. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. What about Paladin of Vengeance instead? I don't trust that we're gonna not be murder hobos. So with Paladins, you have to not break your oath, else you lose a whole bunch of stuff. Just become an oath breaker? Don't you lose access to all your powers if you do that? Also, you don't get guidance if you're a paladin. And guidance is fucking amazing. Oathbreaker has its own powers. You only need one guidance in your party. Yeah, I don't know what anyone else is going to be, so I'm just going to try and fill a void. You don't need guidance if you have Bardic Inspiration. That's true. But I don't know how many of the Paladin things. Can I lay hands still? I haven't played D&D since 3rd edition. Really. Well, I played a little bit of 5e. And then I've been playing Baldur's Gate, but I don't know if Paladins get that or not. Lay hands is in Paladins on. So do I need... So you get a certain number of lay hands per day. I assume you still get them if you're an Oathbreaker. It's character level times charisma. How many times do you get to do it? Charisma modifier amount? See, the reason I was thinking the 2-level dip into life cleric is that then I don't have to put any points into wisdom. I can put just like make it not negative wisdom, and then I'm still healing like a shit ton without actually having to like fully commit to being a cleric. And then I can put a lot of points into strength so that way I can do athletics checks and push people. You can do it as much as you want. You just have a pool of HP to duel out. I'm gonna have to look into it to see how it works. We might have to do that in here in a second because I'm about to run out of power. Seems like your role will be highly dependent on what everyone else picks. Man, I didn't even know Hackerling was coming along, so like I wasn't ready for that as an option. And I just sort of assumed that we'd be getting Acheron in our party, which meant that I needed to be some sort of healer because no one wants to pick healer. It's like Cleric is the lowest picked class. But yeah, I put no point, like I basically build a barbarian, but then I go 2 levels as cleric instead. And then do barbarian. Build a bard workshop. I mean, if we've got a bard, then we don't need that much healing, right? I guess that means that Mike's the healer? You could do druid cleric. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to use wisdom. I don't know. What are the most important stats? It's like wisdom, dex, and charisma for saves? Constitution. So constitution, dex, and wisdom. Dex and con makes up about 50% of saves. Yeah, so I want my dex and con to be relatively high, but then I want I basically want 18 in strength right off the bat. Yeah, it's fine if the battery dies. We'll switch what we're doing after this. How'd you get dust on your mat? Oh, how do you get it? You just I use like a brush or something. Dex, con, charisma, sorcerer. Okay. I really want to go strength, is what I'm saying. I really want to just be able to yeet people, like push people and shit. Because that's a free attack. And then I'm thinking about either going Wood Elf for the speed or Halfling for the rerolls of 1. Rerolling 1s on your hits and on your armor saves sounds broken as fuck. Make sure to pick up athletics. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go there's one that's like survival and athletics is the background. I think I'll do that. And then that'll allow me to get athletics as a check. They used to have a dwarf sub race that gives +2 strength, +2 con. Yeah, I don't think that's in the game anymore. Why is shoving a free attack? Because if you push someone off a ledge, they die. It's not literally a free attack, but it's a bonus action. So you get one free bonus action every time. The other angle I was thinking about going was like enough levels, maybe like A level in Rogue, and then all the rest in Barbarian, and just like yeet people, then beat their ass on the ground while they're prone. May not want to get so ahead of myself. Yeah, I think that's why I'm just going to go with Cleric. Okay, I guess I should ask that. Like, when you respec, can you respec all the stats as well? Like, when you respec, do you just make a new character essentially, or what? Okay, so I could just like roll a regular ass besides everything besides how you look. So I'll still be a whatever race, but like, okay. Feel horrible carving off all these details like this, but like they're not details that I need. I'd be fine with a cleric or rogue, but I kind of want to do the barbarian yeet and punch. I can't find much synergy with yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 fucking slaps. That's the reason. Hey Zumba, how you doing? Erebus is a... So how goes the kitbashing? We're making progress. I don't know how much of it you get to see, because I can't get the camera angle to be good. I want to be very careful about this green stuff usage here. I say as I put a huge glob on. The annoying part is I can't turn the camera anymore. Can I make it, like, better this way? Oop, that's my crotch. To the side a bit. There we go. Did Lime say what she wanted to be? I don't think so. I'm kind of going off the assumption that everyone's going to be a bit selfish and I have to pick up the slack. Limes is planning on rogue. Okay, cool. So I can be tank then. It's a one-off, so just do some absurd shit? Alright. Alright, I'll just become a probably either a muscle elf or a gnome. No, halfling. Barbarian. It depends on how much of a muscle elf we can do. Because I want him to be 18 strength and I want him to look like it. But if I can't make him look like it, why not try Dwarf? If I go Wood Elf, I get extra 5 feet of movement. If I go Halfling, I get to reroll 1s to hit and 1s to save. And that means the chances of me being hit are low. I spent a little time doing some research, yeah. Orc seems like the obvious choice, but you're not going to critical that often. And the don't die on 1 HP is the only thing that I'm really excited about there. I'm just really excited for this, I think is... I have a feeling that Mike is probably going to do a majority of the conversations as well. So having charisma is not helpful. Actually, if I don't go healer... Wait, if I don't go healer, then people are forced to not act like dumbasses. So it's better to not go cleric, because then people will stop being insane. They'll act like dumbasses, but they can't blame me when I die. Okay, I'm not going cleric then. Fuck that. You are overestimating Mike. No, I know that Mike is gonna not probably read half the shit. I think we're gonna keep doing this until the battery cuts out, which should be any second now. Oh, you're saying be a healer, but... The thing is, if I'm bigger... Well, no, actually, size of you does not change your ability to throw stuff. Right? So the size of me doesn't matter aside from my movement speed, really. I just don't want to be fucking useless. Size changes your weight. Most mediums can only throw small or smaller creatures. Okay. So that's a reason not to go halfling. Because I don't want to get thrown all the fucking time. And I feel like I'm going to get bullied if I go small. Getting yeeted is very annoying. Yeah, so I guess I go half elf, or I mean elf. Specifically wood elf, just to go fast. And have minor casting ability. What's the point of half elf? Aside from like lore? Because it seems like it gets the exact same benefits as like Wood Elf does. Different weapon proficiencies, but that doesn't affect anything. Right, okay. I couldn't really figure out which version of fighter I'd want to go if I went that direction instead. But generally speaking, tank seems useful. But the advantage of being a fighter is that I'd have my own personal heal, which can't be taken from me. Champion fighter is the best because it gives increased crit range. So that increases it from critting on like 20s to critting on 19s. Who's playing? It's going to be Limes and Mike for sure. Maybe Hackerling. I'm already playing Baldur's Gate as well. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to get that far in. So really concerning myself with getting anything beyond just survivability of tonight. Time zones? 2 hours from now. I don't like figuring out time zones for every single person in chat. So if I just figure out how many hours it is, that's good enough. If we get to level 3, I'd be surprised. Okay, I think that this could be convincing enough as a Catachan fighter at this point. There's going to be a shit ton of blood. For Limes, it's a 6-hour time difference, so starting at 5, it would be 11 at night. For Limes, roughly 11 or 12. I don't know how daylight savings times fucks with stuff. Okay, that guy goes there. His retinue goes somewhere. We also have some Croziuses that I bought, because that's his like designated weapon. We got 2 options of Crozius. We have on fire and not on fire Crozius, which you can't see because I've put, it's all blurry. Hold up. There you go. Aesthetically, which one do you like better? The one that's on fire or the one that's not? Without fire has a better silhouette. The spikes stand out more on the one that isn't on fire? Okay. So let's clean out the middle bits of the Crozius here. Just some flashing from the printing process. Nothing big. Oh, I love Pete the Wargamer. Pete the Wargamer's videos are fucking comfy as hell. I love his shit. I almost got mad at this dude once because he was like, hey, this is a kit bash I did. And I'm like, bullshit you did. And then I looked at who posted it and it was him. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, actually that is you. Looks like we're finally out of battery. So we're gonna have to switch to doing something else. But anyway, that's a tax write-off. All right. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll switch to something else. Needs to be something kind of low key, because I want to make sure that like we can stop kind of last minute on this. So how about you guys give me 2 minutes to go pee and get some more water and stuff, and I'll be right back. BRB. You said Super Auto Pets in the title? That could be a thing. Yeah, why not? BRB. 2 minutes.